Hello, thank you for watching the Wisconsin Department of Transportation's WIS presentation discussing the proposed improvements on Wisconsin 37 from Wisconsin 88 to US 10 in Buffalo County. The WIS design team consists of Jim Koenig, the project supervisor, Brett Hollister, the project manager, and Alyssa Munden, the lead design engineer. This project is also being developed in cooperation with the City of Mondovi. The city contact is the city administrator, Garrett Martin. Please feel free to reach out to these contacts with any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the project. Their contact information and the project website will be listed at the end of this presentation. The agenda for this presentation is as follows. First, we will start with an overview of the project, going over the project location, why the project is needed, and what improvements the project will include. We will then discuss the impacts of the project, including traffic impacts, right-of-way needs, and business coordination. We will wrap up the presentation with the project schedule and contact information. The proposed project is located on Wisconsin 37 in the northeast corner of Buffalo County in the town and city of Mondovi. The project will begin at Wisconsin 88 and extend north to US 10, locally known as Main Street. The project is roughly 3.5 miles in length. The project is split into 3 sections, a rural section, which has ditches for drainage, and 2 urban sections, which handle drainage with curb and gutter. The rural section, partially shown in blue, is the majority of the project and begins at Wisconsin 88 and ends at the approximate Mondovi city limits. The first urban section, shown in orange, runs west to east from the approximate city limits to Eau Claire Street. This section of Wisconsin 37 is locally known as Riverside Avenue. The second urban section, shown in green, runs south to north and is locally known as Eau Claire Street. The limits of this urban section are from Riverside Avenue to US 10. Each section will have unique improvements that will be discussed later in this presentation. The primary need for this project is to address the condition of the deteriorated pavement. The original pavement was placed almost 90 years ago in 1936. Over the years, there have been multiple overlays and maintenance projects, but the pavement is at the end of its service life. In addition, there are several safety needs. The existing guardrail is outdated and should be replaced, and steep slopes along the rural section need to be better protected. There is also a history of run-off-the-road crashes along the rural stretch of the project. Widened shoulders and rumble strips could help reduce the potential of these crashes. Other needs involve replacing the underground utilities and lighting in the urban sections of the project, and addressing safe pedestrian and bicyclist accommodations along Riverside Avenue and Eau Claire Street. Next, we'll discuss the proposed project improvements. Some are still being evaluated and may or may not be included in the final design. In addition, design elements within the City of Mondovi are still being discussed and considered by the city. To address the needs of the project, different improvements will be included in the different sections of the project. In all 3 sections, the existing pavement will be replaced with concrete pavement. Along with the pavement replacement, the rural section, which is just over 2 miles, will include widening the paved shoulders from the existing 3 feet to 5 feet, adding shoulder rumble strips, installing new guardrail, and regrading the slopes at various locations. The next section is the urban section along Riverside Avenue, which is just over 1 mile in length and begins at the approximate city limits and ends at Eau Claire Street. Along with the pavement replacement, curb and gutter will be replaced and a potential shared use path is being proposed along the south side of Riverside Avenue. The shared use path would provide improved pedestrian and bicycle accommodations and connectivity with the city. To make room to incorporate the potential shared use path, the roadway would be shifted within the existing right-of-way, and the existing parking lane on the south side of the roadway would be removed. The implementation of a shared use path would provide a safe accommodation for pedestrians and bicyclists that is separated from vehicle traffic. It would also provide better connectivity between the southwestern neighborhood and downtown Mondovi. The proposed path would be a 10-foot wide paved asphalt surface with 2-foot grass shoulders on both sides. The last section of the project is the quarter-mile urban section along Eau Claire Street. Along with the pavement replacement, curb and gutter would be replaced, potential on-road bike accommodations would be included, and the intersection of Riverside Avenue and Eau Claire Street would be updated to better accommodate truck traffic. Currently, the only place along Eau Claire Street without sidewalk is on the east side between Riverside Avenue and Water Street. Sidewalk may be added along here. In addition to sidewalk along this section, bump outs are being considered. The considered bump outs would be located at two intersections, Water Street and Hudson Street. A bump out is essentially widened sidewalk areas that create safer crossing conditions for pedestrians. Having a bump out provides pedestrians a refuge while they look for a gap in traffic to cross the road. Bump outs extend out far enough that pedestrians waiting to cross are not standing behind parked vehicles. This makes pedestrians more visible to drivers at intersections and also creates a shorter crossing for pedestrians, lessening the time spent crossing the road and being exposed to traffic. The proposed project will be constructed in one construction season and is currently planned for 2025. A detour is planned for this project to allow for a safer work zone and to help shorten construction time. Access will be maintained for residences and businesses along the project, but some short-term restrictions will be required for construction operations. These short-term closures will most likely be for utility installations and concrete cure time. During construction, property owners and businesses affected by short-term closures will be notified in advance to plan accordingly. The proposed detour follows the path shown in dashed blue using Wisconsin 88, Wisconsin 121, Wisconsin 93, and US 10. The proposed improvements will require right-of-way in the form of either temporary limited easements, TLEs, permanent limited easements, PLEs, or permanent acquisition, sometimes referred to as fee acquisition. These right-of-way needs differ depending on the situation. TLEs are temporary and only required for the duration of the project. The land remains the property owner's during and after construction, but the TLE grants contractors the right to perform work on the property in these areas. TLEs, which are the primary right-of-way need for this project, are required to tie in or grade the ground near construction disturbances. These are primarily required at the back of sidewalk, shared use path, or driveways. TLEs are also acquired when there may not be any disturbances or work performed on the land, but access is required so the construction activities can be completed. PLEs are permanent interests in land and may only be required in a few locations. The land acquired by a PLE is still owned by the original property owner during and after construction, but will have restrictions placed on it. For instance, if required for storm sewer, the property owner could not remove the storm sewer pipe. In addition, PLEs provide for access in perpetuity, meaning if WIS needed to maintain the storm sewer, the agency would be able to access the storm sewer without having to obtain permission from the property owner. Permanent acquisition, or fee acquisition, is where the land acquired will become WIS property. Fee acquisition is required when a roadway element is located outside the existing right-of-way, or the disturbance of the ground creates issues for the landowner. An example of this is when the sidewalk extends beyond the existing right-of-way, or the grading of the ground is too steep for a property owner to maintain or mow. There are many businesses along the project. Impacts due to construction may occur, so WIS has resources available at the listed website. The In This Together program provides a guide with tips, tools, and other resources so business owners can be prepared for construction. Things such as guidance on temporary direction signage to business fronts and communication of detours or parking needs for customers are included in this guide. In addition, the guide includes things businesses have done in other communities to keep them connected with customers during roadwork. WIS believes the success of any project should go hand in hand with the continued success of the communities we serve. Business coordination is highly important to the process. We cannot always promise a tailored solution, but we do strive to be attentive and help coordinate around issues or concerns that may arise. We ask that all businesses utilize the In This Together resource and continue to work with us on questions as they arise. The project has a couple more years of design work before it will be ready for construction. The project schedule is as follows. This year, preliminary design and the design study report will be completed. This is a document that summarizes the project improvements and design criteria. Once the design study report is signed off on, the project moves out of the preliminary design phase. Design refinements will begin, and a second public involvement meeting will be held in 2023. Towards the end of 2023, real estate acquisition will begin. Real estate acquisitions will continue into 2024, and final plans will be completed. Once the final design plans are completed, construction is planned to begin in the spring or summer of 2025. We want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this presentation and hope that it has given you a better idea of the future improvements that will be happening in your community. For more information regarding the project, please review the project documents on the website. If you have additional comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to reach out to any of the project contacts listed here.